welcome back to episode 99. 99! That's a Nina song for you there, Dave, if you're listening at home with your red balloons.
No, Love Ballona. No,
that's the one. Oh, close enough anyway, I think. Of Tallboy Radio, in case you're unsure as to what you were listening to. Next week is going to be episode 100, but we're going to keep it short next week and the week after because we did Christmas and New Year's episodes last year and hardly anybody listened to them because we don't want to be taking up an hour of your time when you're spending it with family. So we're just going to do some nice, short, punchy half-hour episodes for that. But for now, this episode is going to be a regular one. So let's say hello to the host and find out exactly what it is that these guys are drinking.
Evening, guys. Really looking forward to this evening's fun and games, and out of a St. Bernardus glass that I stole from a pub, but keep that quiet. I am drinking.
Ooh. Very nice.
Absolutely. Duvel. Andy, your pronunciation is probably better than mine. Duvel, I say, but.
I think Teddy's pronounces probably better than yours.
Just if that goes, I've got an Erdingage just in the background.
Winner, chicken dinner. Andrew?
Howdy. I'm on a Tiny Rebel 505.
Nice.
I'm not edited for it. I don't think I've ever had it, actually. So I thought I'll give it a whirl and drink it out of the can like a heathen.
Yeah. Is it any good?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's any IPA.
Oh, yeah.
Tropical fruity taste, so can't go wrong.
Plenty of pineapple.
Grapefruit be okay. No pineapple, then.
Well, being that this episode is dropping around about the 20th of December, I thought it's only right and it's only proper to be drinking some Christmas beer. So I'm opening up with Delirium Christmas. So that's nice. their Noel offering, and it comes in as a rather gentle 10%. And I'm going to follow that one up. Have you ever tried this one, Andrew? Gordon Xmas?
No.
Oh, well, I believe it's a Belgian one, 8.8%. So that is what we would call here at TBR an intermediary light beer, I suppose, or a breakfast beer. And you can help me out with the pronunciation of the final beer I've got for the evening, which is a Saint Foyleon. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
that's it. I'll do when it's close enough. And that one's 9%. I might have that one next. Actually, that was intriguing me. So, like we said, Christmas episode, Christmas beer. You're no doubt thinking about Christmas. We're recording this in late November, so obviously Gaz hasn't got his lights up, or has he?
I live in a house with 3 ladies who love Christmas. So I messaged Ad, or Ad messaged me. He said, "Is there something that we like, dude?" And I was like, "Why?" He went, "Well, they're on." I was like, "All right, okay." And then I think the following day he was like, "No, seriously, dude, what's wrong with your lights?" I was like, "Why?" He went, "Well, they're still on," or whatever it was. So I live with so Jenny, my 2 kids, and they all love Christmas. So once they were up, it's like, well, we're not paying them for them to be put up and then not be on. So it's like, right, okay. Unlike Beans, we have no Christmas decorations inside the house up yet.
All up.
So, we did the outside are up, but the inside isn't yet. So I have to concede that maybe it was a week early for the outside lights, but hey ho.
Perfect for me, dude. Perfect for me. Well, we should have been away this weekend, and we should have been glamping, and then going to visit Santa afterwards in the woods. I think near Arley Hall, but it got cancelled because of the severe weather. Obviously, this being November time, if you think back a couple of weeks ago, we had some pretty strong winds. So in the end, we ended up taking our kids up to the Trafford Centre Friday night. Missing out, Gaz, who was also there, I believe.
Yeah, you said tweeting is like something at the Trafford Centre. I was like, "Whoa, dude, are you here?" And then I think I tweeted something like, "All we need now is Andy to make a live podcast," or something. You're like, "Oh, I just left," or something. And then that was obviously when you retold the story about you should have been glamping and unfortunately sort of weren't able to do that. So I think you took JJ and Tiddy to see Santa at the Trafford Centre, I think, didn't you, instead?
Yeah, we did. We did. We thought, we can't not let them. They knew they were going to see Santa, but they didn't know anything else about it. So we thought we're going to have to get something sorted. So we booked that last minute, and there weren't too many people there, which was quite nice. I mean, the Trafford Centre was absolutely rammed, but to see Santa, there was only us and two other families. And as we were going in, Matilda says, "Well, I'm a bit nervous." She was proper excited all the way up there. I'm a bit nervous, and obviously we've had that threat all year long. Every time she's naughty. We always say, like, with the alarm that we've got the little red lights on. Santa's watching. You've got to behave yourself. And it obviously just suddenly clicked and registered. So most kids, when they go up to see Santa, what they do is, I want this, I want that, and recount everything that they've seen on the adverts while watching Nick Jr. Oh, no, not Tiddy. Obviously, she's thinking, I've been naughty. I best do something to distract. So literally stood there and went to a massive spiel, grassing up JJ, everything he'd done that day. JJ's thrown this. He's put a big chip in the new wooden floor. He keeps messing around with the lights, and Daddy keeps telling him to stop it, and he's pulling the thing out of the electric plug socket, and we keep saying, no, leave it alone. It's like, all right, let it go.
Give all
tell
us.
To me. Snitches get stitches, don't they? And they don't get anything.
Well, that's what I keep saying to us, like, stop grassing. But it's got to the point, obviously, JJ's too. Obviously, he doesn't know, he doesn't get it. So he just grasses himself up. So he'll come running into the room and just say, JJ's messing around with the lights. It's like, all right, nice one, dude. Grass yourself up. Well done.
It is brilliant when, you go through when the kids are young and stuff. And whenever you used to go out to, you'd have a meal out or something, and there'd be like a camera or whatever, and it'd be like, you've got to be good. The chef's watching. If you're naughty, he's not going to bring you your food, and you just point at a light or a camera or whatever it may be. But running up to Christmas is fantastic because you can just use that all the time. It doesn't quite work with 16 and 14-year-olds now, unfortunately. So, you do get to the point where it sort of wears off a little bit, but,
Hey, it still works on me.
I was like, who's that? Oh, okay. Better be good.
That's it. Santa don't want to send mini dicks and flannel. I would not be happy. So I'll tell you something else that we've done as well this week, because we're getting ready for Christmas. Obviously, as you know, I've already mentioned my Christmas present already sorted. We were looking at birthday presents for Matilda because her birthday is early January. Now, one of the things she loves a program called Numberjacks. I don't know if you guys are ever familiar with it. It's like an ed. Yeah, you familiar with it? Cool. Andy, you got it to come. You got one to look forward to.
I remember Numberjacks. Yeah.
Yeah, so she loves it, but typically loves all the villains. And her favourite villain from it is, do you remember the Number Taker? It's the guy who basically dresses as an undertaker, but in white, and goes around causing mischief.
Right. Okay.
So she's, I want this toy, I want that toy. It's like, these toys don't exist. It's not a particularly new program. You can't buy a Number Taker toy. So I thought outside the box, and I thought maybe we can get a message. You've seen these websites, Memo and Cameo, where you can get messages from your favourite stars. So I thought it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, the guy who played the Number Taker was also the White Walker on Game of Thrones. So he's on there.
No way.
Honestly, yeah. It's a chap by the name of Ross Mullen. I thought, I don't suppose he gets too many requests for the Number Taker because we put it in Saturday morning and we got it Saturday afternoon. And I've got to be honest, I was pretty thrilled with it. And I think Matilda will be too. We've got to now hold off on the temptation for her to listen to it. But I thought this would lead in to a festive game for us, right? So we played higher or lower when we did the wrestling heights. So this is from the website. So Ross Mullen, it sent me back just shy of 40 quid to get that message from me, which I think is pretty reasonable for a 2 or 3 minute message from a celebrity, even if you may or may not have heard of him. But anyone who watches Game of Thrones will be quite familiar. So let's go higher or lower, then higher or lower. 40, we'll start off then 37 quid it cost me to get a message for him. James Murray, or Murr, from Impractical Jokers, higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower?
Yeah. Well, it should be lower, yeah.
224 quid if you want a message from me.
Are you kidding me? 224 pounds.
Yeah, for a 2 minute message from Mr. James Murray. I've met him. He's a very entertaining and polite young man, but yeah, gee whiz.
Wow, I'm in the wrong business. Jesus.
I know. We should be charging Get TBR on that website. Do all three of us. We'll do it for less than that. Go on then. So higher or lower than James Murray? Neil Razor Ruddock.
Oh,
I'm going to say lower.
You guys are both saying lower.
Yeah.
35 quid.
Yeah, there we go. See, he needs money. See, he can't be picky and choosy. That guy can't.
David Spunky Seaman.
He's going to be
Higher than 35.
Higher than that, you say? Yeah, 150 quid for Spunky.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No way. Come on, Dave.
This is one of your favourites now, and I'll try and say it. I'll try and do an impression of him now. Just so you know. Louis Spence.
That's the worst impression in the world.
Sorry. That's Louis Spence.
I've got to say higher.
Higher than 150 for Spunky?
Oh, yeah.
I'll go higher for Louis.
65 quid.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
What happens if you double up a message from Louis Spence and a photo of you on the ground trying to do the splits outside Pineapple Studios? Like, does that bump the value up or not? Or what do you think?
I'm not sure it'd be that obvious. I was trying to do the splits, because I'm not that flexible. It just looked like a very questionable photograph.
I could share that, but I'm not going to. But yes, it's relatively questionable. So how much was Louis Spence in? 35, 65.
65. So Paul Chuckle.
Oh, you see, he's going more than that. Chuckle Brothers were mint.
Yeah, they were.
I'm going to say lower.
And Andy says lower. Gaz?
Higher.
40 quid. 40 quid for Paul Chuckle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
It's a shame about the other brother. Is it Barry or whatever? But
yeah. Were they actually brothers? Don't Google that one, Andy, because you might bring up other information.
Oh, I'm not searching that.
I don't know.
I don't think they were. Right then. Played for Arsenal. Played for Everton. Kevin Campbell.
I'll say
or
lower.
Lower than 40 quid for Paul Chuckle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's an Everton player, so I'll go higher.
15 quid, dude. 15 quid. Christmas cracker money there if you want to get yourself
15 quid for 2 minutes. In fact, I might do that one.
I was about to say. I wondered about that, whether we should do this for TBR, just get to say, promote it, and we can use it at the start of every episode.
Just, get Kevin Campbell. Do we get to write the script then?
You get to well, not necessarily. You can write the script more or less, but we just put in the different points that they wanted to say. And actually, he would have been a little bit cheaper, but we paid an extra £5 to add some extra stuff in about Spooky Spoon, if you're familiar with that show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Kevin Campbell, 15 quid. Carol Baskin, higher or lower?
Higher.
Higher.
You're quite right. £187.50.
No way. No, like who would pay that for? I don't know. I don't get it.
Well,
Carol Baskin.
Yeah. Someone has, because there's a very good one if you search Carol Baskin and Rolf Harris, where she sits up wishing Rolf Harris and his pal Jimmy Saville a happy birthday.
That was quite humorous. That was.
Yeah. So Carol Baskin's £187.50. Kevin Painter, the dart player, my least favourite.
Oh, it's got to be less than that. It's got to be significantly less than that.
40 quid.
Okay.
Anders Limpar played for Arsenal and Everton again.
Less.
Lower.
Oh, less than Kevin Payne. You see, you're both right. 33 quid. You've played this game before.
But interestingly, Anders Limpar charges more than Kevin Campbell.
Double.
Oh, okay.
Double and
there
a little
you go.
bit more.
Yeah.
Gary Busey.
Oh, he's higher.
Higher. Must be higher.
296 quid. And it's probably going to be unintelligible.
That's bad, because I know he was pretty big in like the 80s and the 90s, but
and he had a big resurgence last few years. Like, he's coming back out on doing like TV shows and stuff.
He has, but I still think 296 quid's a little bit high for him.
It's a bit steep.
Right, last one. Then we've got to finish on this one. Kevin Spacey.
I'm going to say it's more.
I'll go lower.
He's not on there. I just want to see if guys get excited.
Now, if he was on there, I might have paid 290 quid for him. I just wanted to say, the biggest trick the devil ever pulled and all that. I just picked out the best quotes that he's ever done in any of the films, just get him to string them together. That'd be mint.
I'll be honest. If he was on that, I probably would have got him for you. Who would Andy go for? If you had to pick one celebrity to kick off an episode of TBR or wish you a Merry Christmas, who would you go for, Andy?
Don't know. Who could we go for?
See, I would have guessed at Aaron Lewis, right? And I was, unfortunately, that name has just come to me now because when I was searching on Saturday, I was thinking, I'll have a look for that one name. What the hell was his name? Then what band was he in? I can't remember. Old Lace was kicking in as Gaz kindly pointed out the other day.
No, you said
that'd be a good one.
Kevin Spacey or Morgan Freeman because his voice is mint. Like Morgan Freeman has just got just an amazing voice. So him or another guy that's got a mint voice, Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
his voice would be fantastic. Yeah. And I'd have to get him to go. These are the voyages of the Starship. Blah 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 blah. And do some sort of weird Star Trek sort of quote or whatever.
His log.
Okay, your captain. Your log.
Captain's log.
So I would have said Aaron Lewis for you, and I would have gone Kevin Spacey for yourself. But I'm going to guess Spacey, and who was the other guy you said? Jean-Luc Picard. What's his name? Patrick Stewart. And Morgan Freeman. I think those three guys would probably set you back a pretty penny if they do it. I'm not sure worth looking into. So for me, I tell you who I'd love to hear from. Neil Morrissey. Neil Morrissey.
Brian Blessed would be brilliant.
Yeah. I was watching them behaving badly the other day, actually. I think it's you talking about Neil Morrissey so much.
What would you get? Brian Blessed just shout "Gordon's alive" or something and just repeatedly over and over?
No, I'm not a big fan of Flash Gordon. It's an okay film. I'm not going to sit here and slate it. Maybe we'll get into Christmas movies a little bit later. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that film. It is okay and it is mildly entertaining. But I just like the guy. I think if you ever watch him when he's on TV, specifically when he's hosting "Have I Got News for You" or guesting on there, the guy's completely nuts. I can listen to him forever.
He does seem slightly, or should I say, have a slight sort of looser grip on reality and than most people. He does go on quite a lot.
He does. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about in this episode there, we loosely linked into it there by talking presents, was Christmas presents and some of the Christmas presents of the past. Now, I dropped off a little early Christmas present with my brother. Don't worry, John, I'll get you a proper one as well. Don't worry about it, kid. But I dropped off the Duchess and the Delirium Red with him. Which beer do you suppose he preferred?
Duchess.
Please don't say the Duchess.
Yeah, he said, we are harsh on that beer. He says it wasn't one of his favourites. He probably wouldn't buy it again. It smelled of vinegar, but he didn't taste of it and got slightly worse the more he drank. But he finished it and actually said he preferred it to the Delirium Red. He doesn't like it. I don't like it.
Like how?
I have no idea. I was flabbergasted. I was gobsmacked. Can't think of any other words like that, but I do quite like him.
Did you slap him?
Well, no, he just messed me. I was like, you can't be serious. The Duchess is literally one of the worst beers that I've ever tasted. The other one was that bloody strawberry beer you gave me, guys. That was fairly appalling.
Well, you see that I did well then, obviously, to palm that bad boy off.
She did. On every time that I've had the Duchess, I've managed to drink more of it than I managed of that strawberry beer you gave me. That's how bad that was.
Wow, that must be bad then.
But that Delirium Red, I was saying to him, if I have a couple of bottles of that, I'm smashing it down. It's like drinking like fizzy pop. It's lethal stuff because it's 8% and you just bang. It's so sweet.
I think we smashed half a keg last time we came mine as well.
It was a good year. It was a good job Kim was driving. I think I had a little Bobies in the car on the way home. Yeah. Well, this is actually the first time I think I've had the Delirium Christmas. And I tell you what, dude, that is a really good beer. Wasn't that interesting though, last week when we had Ryan and Brad on, that then identified the beers that we enjoy. Bo said the same thing and John said the same thing. He was pleased to try the Duchess and Delirium Red because he recognises it's the sort of stuff that we talk about here regularly. I didn't realise that we had that reputation. I like it though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's most episodes we talk. Well, our introduction is we talk about the beers that we're drinking, and we probably will discuss beer without it being a beer podcast. We probably discuss the beers that we like. So it's interesting that a couple of people have picked up on. Oh, obviously they're the beers that you guys as a podcast drink.
Yeah.
And so effectively lump us all together and say, like, oh, well, you guys drink that, because I'm probably more coming round to more of the beers that you two drink than I would historically drink. But I suppose Andy would drink lots of different beers, and particularly you, Andy, you will drink lots of beers like a layer cake, like a marshmallow type sort of stout and stuff. It's like I wouldn't necessarily drink that, and I know Andy, you said you were a massive fan of that, were you?
No.
So yeah, but it's interesting that other
I'd
people
rather Duchess.
Really?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's interesting that loads of other people, people that we don't necessarily to speak to that often lump us all together. Oh, well, you guys drink those beers, but that's quite cool in a way.
Yeah,
a bit of a niche market going on there, so that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
I quite like that. I quite like that. So like we said, we're going to talk about Christmas presents. We had, and I shared with these guys a couple of weeks ago, a little Christmas present early, didn't we? We got sent some nudes, DM'd some nudes by a sexy blonde, didn't we?
You did.
Must have missed that.
Yeah. I know. I shared it on the WhatsApp group. Fortunately, it was from a dude who looked like Wagner out of the X Factor. Hey, what is it about Tallboy Radio that anybody think would be interested in that kind of thing? What is, I'm happy to be tagged with the strong Belgian beer tag.
But not nude Wagner.
Not nudes on long-haired blokes with mustaches. Gee whiz.
I don't know. I suppose everybody has to reach out at some point. I suppose everybody needs an audience. I wasn't a massive fan, if I'm honest, but hey, there we go.
No. But I tell you what, though, like I said, not a massive fan. Let's talk about. I think when you think about Christmas, certainly a lot of my memories are probably tied into my childhood, and I think when your parents as well, and you suddenly realise that your children, as your children are growing up, you're watching your parents grow up as well, because we're sort of growing up and we're become, slowly but surely at the age of 48, become an adult as well at the same time, and you're developing and you're making those memories, and now they're more important to you that your children have those memories and you center it around them. But when we were kids, it was certainly centered around us, and I always felt that way. Maybe we're a little bit fortunate in our backgrounds there, because I know not everybody has that, but certainly I know I always did. So if you guys got any Christmas memories or any absolute quality Christmas presents, it doesn't have to be the best present in the world, but something that stuck with you, that was important to you, I'd love to hear them.
I mean, it's not the, well, I suppose it would be one of the best presents I've got. It's not in terms of sort of value or anything else, but I remember it must have been, I don't know, maybe mid-80s, maybe early 83, 84, something like that. So I'm probably like 10 or 11 years old. And I just started watching American football, and I got an American football for Christmas. And I remember it as though it was yesterday. Snow was outside, and I opened the presents, and me and Sid, we'd open a couple of other presents and stuff, and I got an American football. And me and Sid went outside into the close that we lived in at the time, and it was cold, snowing, and we must have spent 2.5 hours outside just throwing this American football to each other. And it's a proper strong memory of mine that I got, and I whenever I think back to it, I loved it, because it's the present I remember the most. And we got one Christmas, we got an Atari, the old like cartridge top loader sort of console thing, so we had that. But it was the American football, and I got like a sort of a beanie hat sort of thing that put on, and we were outside, and we spent hours just throwing this American football to each other. And as I say, it was probably, I want to say maybe 83, 84. So like I say, I would have been sort of 10 or 11 maybe, just getting into American football, getting into American sports. It just come on to Channel 4, so it was, I was sort of proper into it. And that's probably one of my strongest childhood memories, actually, in terms of a Christmas Day. And it's not the biggest present, the most expensive present, but it's the one I remember because me and Sid just, it's my present. They bought it for me, but obviously Sid's my brother and stuff. So we went outside and we were just like, we just played for hours, literally just lobbing the ball to each other. And you'd be like, and he drops back into pocket and and we couldn't throw it back in the day, it'd be like wibbly wobbly sort of thing. It'd be like absolutely terrible. Couldn't spiral it at all, but because we were both relatively sporty and decent hand-eye coordination, we catch it sort of thing and throw it, but it'd be all over the place. And then we learned to sort of spiral it. And when we got it as a spiral, we were like, woo, sort of thing, and it was proper. But honestly, dude, like, real strong memory of that. And it's an American football. It's an American football. It's not a massive computer. It's not a massive sort of. But that for me was a present that I got that I proper cherished and enjoyed and grew up with, and a memory of Christmas Day growing up. That was it.
Cool. That's quite interesting. That one. It is quite interesting. Like you say, it's not the most expensive present in the world, but at the same time, back then in what was probably the early to mid 80s, fairly uncommon, I would have thought. It's not something you would have seen maybe the year or two before, but it suddenly became very, very prevalent at the point that Channel 4 started showing it. And I can actually remember getting the Channel 4 Christmas NFL annual one year. The NFL, it was like the blue cover. I think it may have had the San Francisco 49ers on the front. I can't remember, but absolute gem. What about yourself, Andy?
I don't know about the best Christmas present, but I do remember I used to, early 90s, when I was like 6 or 7, used to get like a stocking. And I get up and it's got like an orange or an apple in it or whatever. But then there'll be Mum used to get me like a little like Lego, something small Lego. So I remember like there used to be little cars or something like that. So I used to have like loads of Lego, like a garage and all that sort of stuff. So she used to get me like a little car for the stocking, and I go downstairs and get the bigger present. But I always enjoyed the little Lego sort of present. Now, I used to get bikes. I got a bike for Christmas once, but I always loved like opening the stocking because it was just like a teaser what's downstairs or whatever. It's just that little Lego and that.
You used to have like little stocking fillers and stuff. You have your stocking first and be like, oh, what's in it? And we did it for our girls for years, and it'd be like a bit of a makeup stick or something, or like a chocolate orange in there or something. You used to go diving into the stocking first and see what the little sort of knickknacks were almost, and then it's like, oh, okay, now you've had that. Now go into the lounge or whatever, and there's like a bike or there's a massive sort of whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? So, well, what about yourself then, Ad? What was yours then in terms of sort of growing up, or sort of a memory or present that you had?
There is one thing actually, but just on Andy's one there. I tell you what, dude, I'm going to do that for my kids. Maybe not this year because nearly 5 and 2.5, perhaps a little bit young. Certainly when they get they don't get Lego. Let's be honest, I get the bloody Lego. When we're going to talk about happy Christmas memories from our childhood in a little bit, but one of my favourite ones was last year. They all buggered off for a walk on Boxing Day, and I sat and played with the Lego and had a few beers. It was absolutely brilliant.
Was that when you created the TBR pole dancing club or whatever it was?
Yeah, pole dancing club out of Lego. Which wasn't, I was pretty
What's
proud
that,
of it.
Dad? No, you need to know about.
That's it, yeah. It's what GFG tells me about. I've never been.
Yeah, I'm ready for a treat from Andy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what that
Well, I tell you what, though, when we came up with the idea for this, and we were sharing what we wanted to talk about, the different Christmas memories, I started to think about it. The same as yourself, actually, guys. The one thing, and the same as yourself, Andy, really, it wasn't the most expensive of gifts. It's actually a pen. Do you remember something called a space pen?
No, I don't think so.
Just before you start that, I was going to say, I don't know what a spaceman is, but I was going to say, is it going to be one like where you tip it upside down and there's like a naked woman on it?
yeah.
We all had them when we were at school, dude.
Yeah. I tell you what, they were that highlight. When I hit 14, I really appreciated that, I can tell you. Well, that's another episode. I got that excited to know a space pen. It was about the length of a bullet. In fact, I think it was called Space Pen Bullet. And he pulled it out and he stuck the lid on. The lid was quite sizable and it made it a full length pen, but you could write underwater. It wasn't affected by gravity because it was pressurized. So you could write upside down and it would never fade. And I tell you what, I love that pen. And I was thinking about it. It was gold with a black end to it, a black rubbery end. And I was thinking, I have no idea what happened to it. And it got to the point where I actually said to Kim, when we was planning this episode, I'll tell you what I want for Christmas. Get me one of them space pens. So with a little bit of luck, and if she's listening to us now on 20th of December, you've got 5 days, get it sorted.
So I got a message saying, oh, you can have all this beer, because I don't want it. He wants a pen.
The beer is my fuel to get me through Christmas Day. The pen is to jot down, a few notes when I wake up on Boxing Day, so I know exactly what happened and who I have to apologise to.
I had that last year. Yeah, Jenny was very happy. I sort of, let's just say, overindulged in a couple of Belgian beers, and so let's just say this year I won't be indulging in quite as many Belgian beers. But I think I might need perhaps one of those pens just to note down. So, yeah, offended auntie, offended uncle, offended granddad, or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Offended everybody.
Yeah, in fact, just write that one word, offended. Yeah. But no, it's weird because you go through almost like and you will get this, Andy. You go through it, and Adam, you're not there yet, but like not a boring period or a null period, but Christmas is brilliant when you're growing up and you're a kid yourself, and then you go through your teens, and it's great because you can start to get the things you want, and then it's almost like not as I say, you don't really look at Christmas for yourself. It's then when you have kids yourself that then you start to then enjoy Christmas again. And my two are 16 and 14, and they still love Christmas. As I said earlier, right at the start of the episode, Jenny and my two girls love Christmas. So sort of fighting a losing battle, really. But
it's not a battle that needs fighting.
Well, no, maybe not. But they're at 16 and 14, and you think they're just on the cusp of, Christmas is not important, but it hasn't quite got that magical feel. And the next time I suppose it'll have that magical feel will be when we become grandparents, and Amy and Abby grow up and they have kids of their own, and you're like, and that's when it becomes magical again. Do you know what I mean? So there's like periods of time that it's fantastic and it's great. You see all your mates. I mean, we're going out, when this drops, we will have been out, me, Jenny, Adam, Kim and stuff. So we're going out, I say next week, but by the time this drops, it was like 2 weeks ago. But, and you get to meet and go out and share a drink with friends and family and all of that sort of stuff. But it's not quite the same as when you've got your own kids, and like Christmas for your kids is like an amazing time to see their face. You must be like this year for you will be like unbelievable.
Yeah, Tiddy gets it. Yeah, Tiddy gets it. She got it last year and the year before as well. Because, like I say, she's nearly 5, so she is absolutely wired. She's absolutely wild on Christmas morning. Literally, there's wrapping paper anyway. I mean, I didn't even get to open any of my presents. They all got done by ear as well. And God, I think there's going to be a bit of a scrap if she tries to do JJ's this year. And this will be the first year. Like I say, he's 2.5, so he'll definitely get it. Oh yeah, the boy can stand up for himself now. He's got a mean right up. God bless him. Well, he needs it with her as well. He needs to keep her in. So, but like you say, and that's that. We're thinking about the risk of sounding like Charles Dickens. Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. I can't even imagine Christmas as a grandparent. Although I will tell you this story. Remember, I don't think it was last year. It was the year before when we went to Centre Parks. Now, if I let my beard grow, it is horribly, horribly grey. You're probably looking at me now, if you're watching on YouTube, thinking what a youthful, sprightly young 48-year-old I am. If I let this beard grow, I look like Santa. And we went to Centre Parks. I hadn't had a shave. I thought, when I get there, I'm going to get a rollicking off Kim. Best get this trimmed. Stuck my hand in the bag. No beard trimmer. I forgot it. So I had a full-on grey beard come the end of the holiday, and Matilda was charging around the park market, where you buy your food and everything like that. And the shop assistant turned to me and said, "Is she running rings around your granddad?" What? That hurt. That hurt.
I've never had that, so
listen. I know I'm an old dad. I had my first kid at 43, so I'm an old dad. I get it, but there was no need for that, love. I'm on my holidays.
That's below the belt. Come on.
You should have faked a heart attack or something.
I tell you what, I nearly had one when she said it. You didn't need to fake it.
I was going to say, no need to fake that. Bloody hell. No, because it's interesting you say that, because one of my favourite sort of Christmas memories with having the kids is we went to Centre Parks and we went over Christmas. So we went and we spent, Christmas Day. We got there sort of Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day and stuff, and we spent it at Centre Parks. It was brilliant. It was absolutely just one of the best Christmases that we had with the girls, and we took our own sort of Christmas sort of lunch as such, and Jenny took like a little turkey breast, and so we cooked ourselves, and we woke up Christmas Day morning and it was quite cold, and we opened the sort of the blinds or the curtains or whatever it was in the lodge, and it was very wintry, very snowy, and outside, and I won't swear, but I kid you not, it looked like a reindeer. It clearly wasn't a reindeer, it was a deer, but it was like it outside. You went like that, and you were like wow. And there was a bit of a lake, and there were ducks, and there was squirrels, and there was loads of wildlife, and then there was literally a deer, and we were like this is brilliant. So we took a couple of presents, and bless them, the girls were like, as we were going up, they're like, well, how will Santa know that we're here and we're not at home? Like, well, Santa's a very clever man, sort of thing. And we didn't put all of the presents in. And he said, well, he will deliver some at home, and he knows we're coming, and we've sent him a letter and told him we're going to be here, and blah, blah, blah. So we opened a couple of presents when we were away. Had Christmas lunch in the lodge, just the four of us. And an amazing lunch, and I can't tell you how special, fantastic, warm it felt, just the four of us being away. And it sounds like really non-Christmassy at all, but we then went swimming in the afternoon because the pool was open, and we were sitting Christmas Day late afternoon sort of thing, and we were in the outside pool, but it was in the sort of jacuzzi warm bit, so we were all just sitting there, and we've opened presents. We've seen a reindeer, according to the girls. We've had Christmas lunch. They're now doing what they want, and we're swimming, and we're sitting in this outdoor pool, and it's dark, and you've got the stars, and it was just like a magical time. And don't get me wrong, Centre Parks do, they do lay on the old cost for sort of Christmas and stuff, and it is ridiculous. But we thought, we'll do it this one year, and it was amazing. It's fantastic, and we had such a lovely time. And I would, if you can afford it, yes, it's pricey, but if you can afford it, it's amazing. They do this winter wonderland walk, and you go through all the trees and lights and stuff. I don't know whether you did that or not, but it's brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah, we didn't go over obviously Christmas time, but we went a couple of weeks before. And again, I'd absolutely echo what Gaz said. Well worth it. It's magical. It is absolutely magical. And we've been to Centre Parks a couple of times, haven't we, Andy? And it's pretty stress free. You drop your car off, which means you can solidly drink for the next 4 days. It's an absolute winner. But yeah, it's wonderful. It was so relaxed, and it's a whole different experience. I think we paid maybe an extra 50, 60 quid as well. And they deliver you a Christmas tree to decorate in your lodge. Yeah. And that for me is well worth doing. And then you get to keep it. And obviously we left the tree, but we brought the baubles home, and I've stuck TBR on a few of them. It's on my Christmas tree right now in the front room.
But we went and you go into your lodge, and you have like a sort of floor to ceiling, sort of big sort of chalkboard and stuff, and you can get to write your own Christmas message on, and they leave you chalk and stuff, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the time the chalk's all over the bloody lodge. It's nowhere near the board where it should be and stuff, but you get to write a Christmas message on there, and it's just brilliant. It's a fantastic experience that I'm so glad that we had with our girls, and it is pricey, don't get me wrong, and and not everybody can afford it, and I get that, but if you can, then it is fantastic, and that's one of my favourite memories, really, of Christmas with the girls, is that Christmas away, and actually we said we would consider going away again, sort of thing, but it was wintry, it was cold, but we had such a nice family experience. It was fantastic. It's brilliant.
Awesome. Yeah, I would second that. I love Centre Parks. Gee whiz, they do love to crank the price up though during the holidays. But my goodness, yeah, it's a great place. An absolutely great place to visit. What about yourself? What about yourself, Andy? Have you got any specific memories of Christmas that you enjoy sharing?
I don't know. I was trying to think when you were talking then. I think, like I said earlier, you get a little stocking and all that, and get the big presents. But maybe the last few years has been a bit different for me. I think, we've had all family round every last, like, say, 4 Christmases or whatever. So yeah, it's just good, get the parents round, have a few beers and stuff, and just relax for a few days because everyone else is cooking. But, yeah, it's going to be different in the next few years for me. But before that, like teenage years, I don't really remember much Christmas other than, I'd normally pester my mum for the latest console, like a Dreamcast or something, and that'd be out like before Christmas. I'd be like, oh, I'll have it as a Christmas present.
But I want it now.
Yeah. It's stuff like that for me. But I don't know. I'm going to have to get into this Christmas mood for the boy in the next few years, but I've got a bit of time before that happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got a bit of time. I mean, one of the things for me was, so my mum's side of the family live on the Wirral, and we always used to go up there on Boxing Day, and we used to have Christmas Day at home, me, Sid, Mum, Dad, and then we would go to my nan's on Boxing Day, and that was traditionally what we did. And my mum's sister and sort of her sons, my cousins, would go to my nan's as well and did it. So we'd go to my nan's on Boxing Day, and I think one Christmas, there were 14 people, and my nan, God rest her soul, she died at the age of 100 sort of last year. So, we went there, and it was a tiny, tiny, tiny kitchen. She lived in this tiny little terrace house, and tiny kitchen, like a 2-ring hob. No, a microwave, but I don't even think she had a microwave back then, but like a 2-ring hob. And she cooked a Christmas meal for 14 people.
Bloody hell.
And it blows my mind now to think, how the fudging hell did she do it? Like, genuinely, I don't know. It's like a 2-ring, and you're like, and it was hot. There was enough food to feed a third world country. It was like, she'd bring out these bloody serving platters, and it wasn't a plate. Those like oval serving platters. She'd bring out them, and I remember starting to eat, and I'm not eating up. Am I starting up here? You got all the veg and the roasted, and then you got the meat, and it was like, Jesus Christ, how much food have you done? But they brought out the emergency chairs, benches, tables, and we were literally sitting on like not quite primary school type benches and stuff, but it's like emergency benches, chairs, and there were 14. And if you went to the house that now my aunt and my cousin still live in, as I say, my nan's passed away, you think, how did you get 14 people? A, in the room, but B, actually sitting at a table, and there was like a trestle, and it was like just a long line of people eating, and actually that, I suppose one of the Christmas memories, that was and we did that for a number of years, as I say, that was what we did on Boxing Day. We'd go to my nan's, and that was I suppose one of my memories of Christmas is actually going to watch Everton, and I know it's, we're not doing that well at the moment, but we went. And my
were
cousin,
you back then?
well, mid-80s, we were pretty decent, to be fair, dude.
I forget how old you are. Sorry to be mid-80s. You were okay.
We were okay, and had it not been for circumstance surrounding a couple of incidents that happened mid-80s, I think we would have gone on to be not quite European greats and stuff, but we would have done pretty decent because, we were perennial either league winners or runners up and FA Cup finalists and winners and this, that and the other. So, and I remember going one Boxing Day, and my uncle Bob was an Everton fan. My two cousins were Everton fans. And I remember going to one Boxing Day, and it must have been again about, maybe 84, 5, 6, something like that. And we ate lunch earlier because my Uncle Bob was like, well, there's a game on, so we're going to go. And I remember saying to my dad, like, can I go? My dad was like, yeah, okay, you can go, sort of thing, stick with your Uncle Bob, sort of thing.
Stick to the roads, beware the moon.
Beware the moon, yeah, the murderer it is. And I went to Goodison. That's my first experience at Goodison Park. So that was the first game I went to. That's my team, and that's where I support Everton. We went to Wirral, and mum's side of the family predominantly were Everton fans. So that's how I support Everton. That's the story. But that was Boxing Day. So that's a real strong memory of mine in terms of the Christmas period and being with family and having a real sense of, we didn't see mum's side of the family that much because I say back in the day, they're only bloody 45 minutes away. It's not like the other side of the world, you know what I mean? But we didn't see them that much. But when we did, we always had a great time. And it was like you'd never been away. And it's like seeing your best mate for, you haven't seen each other for months and then you see each other again. And but that's a real strong memory of mine over the Christmas period is my nan cooking for all of these people and loving it. Not worried about how am I going to do it, but actually genuinely loving entertaining people and having people in a house and being surrounded by what she would class as her kids, her grandkids, her great grandkids, and so on. It just fantastic family times.
Oh, that's wicked. For me, I think obviously, as you know, I work in food retail, so my time now is precious because obviously it's a very, very busy time of the year for me. So Christmas Day, Boxing Day is pretty much what I get off. I always work Christmas Eve, and frankly, I wouldn't want not to. I actually love working Christmas Eve because the atmosphere in store is fantastic. You're so busy, but everyone's in such a great mood. I love it. And I can remember when I was living in Winterley. I only lived in Winterley for a year. It's a tiny little village, 2 or 3 roads passing through. It's actually a little bit bigger now, but when I lived there, it wasn't very big. And I can remember getting home after a busy shift on Christmas Eve, and the girl I was seeing who'd gone out was an absolute winner, as it turned out. But we won't get bogged down on those details. And I went and got myself a beer out of the fridge, and I sat down, put a crap Christmas film on the telly, and just as I cracked it open, it started to snow. And not only that, the Winterley brass band started playing outside, and it's like, oh, this is epic. This is what Christmas is about. And when I think back to it as a child, there was almost like a feeling that time stood still. You'd finished school, and then that was it. You had no idea what day of the week it was. You knew what day Christmas was.
Yeah.
You knew what day Boxing Day was, but everything else was a blur. By the time you went back 2 weeks later, which nowhere near as long as the summer holidays, which, let's not gloss over the fact that Gaz still has as a teacher. But, he still gets that wonderful 2 weeks off. I'm guessing he kept pretty busy with his kids and his wife and what have you. But it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a blur. You get back to school, you've forgotten how to bloody write. Your hand's like, you know what I mean, like Beetle, and you just can't produce anything. But that time, there was just a warm glow of a feeling. And I guess probably I owe my parents a massive debt and a massive bill of gratitude to say thank you for creating that experience for us, because it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed it so much, and I just want, and it puts a bit of pressure on me now to recreate that for my own children, so they have that special, warm, magical feeling throughout that time, and it's as special to them as it is to me. And I think that's part of the reason why Christmas is so special to me. It's probably that it was instilled in me as a child.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Andy will have this to come, and you have kids, and and as I say, not you live Christmas through your kids, but
No, you do.
different.
You do
It's,
now.
it is different. You know, you go through that period of Christmas for yourself personally till you get to whatever age it may be. Some kids it'll be 14, some kids it'll be 15, some kids it'll be 16, or whatever it may be. And then, as I say, you then have kids of your own, and it's like, yeah, this is Christmas now. This is, and to see their faces and to see them experience it, and you know, as a parent, you sit back and think, yeah, and your job is to make it, I suppose, as magical, and I hope as magical as you as a child had it. And I will talk from, you know, I enjoyed my Christmases as a kid, and look, I get the fact that there's lots and lots and lots of children out there and kids and families and stuff that don't have great Christmases. I get that. But for me, I had a fantastic Christmases and it was brilliant. And, you know, mum and dad, you know, they didn't have the most money. We were not made of money and stuff, but they always made it so special and just memories and just that they genuinely thought about. And this is the thing that made it fantastic for me was that, as I say, the presents weren't the most expensive. They weren't the most glitzy, glamorous, but they thought about the presents. And it was like, actually, you know what? It might not be the biggest, the best, but he will really enjoy this, or Sid would really enjoy this. And it was the thought that went into it. Do you know what I mean? That made it just proper special times. And yeah, you know, families and some people find it hard over Christmas, and I get that, but it's a time for you to sit back and think, you know what, take stock a little bit. You know, you're a phenomenal time in your life that you've got kids at the age that I say just starting to experience it, but understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's brilliant.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's tried and it's tested and it's advertised and it's very, very best. But Jack Daniels, I always think when I see their adverts, and it's not about what's under the tree, it's the people that's around it. And, you know, it probably couldn't be true. And just to touch back on something there that Gaz said, that there are people out there that don't have wonderful Christmases. And I read something today online, actually, about a pub in London, and it's called the Alexandra in Wimbledon. And for years now, they've been doing a 3-course meal for people who are alone at Christmas. So you turn up, you don't pay for it. You just turn up, and if you've got no one to spend Christmas with, doesn't matter what the reasons are, they will do you a 3-course meal and a glass of wine on Christmas. And you don't get to sit there and eat it by yourself. They'll stick you on a table, you know, between tables of 4 to 8 and 4. That is what's magical about Christmas to me. Stuff like that, you wouldn't do it any other day of the year. I just thought that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And you know what? I say a round of applause, because that is the Christmas spirit. That is, you know, we can provide, and therefore we will. And we will try to help out those that can't. And if you are alone, and there's, you know, I'm sure well, I know for a fact that they're not the only pub stroke scheme stroke community that do that. And there's lots of communities that will say, you know, come to our civic centre, come to our hall, and if you are on your own, come and sit and join. And you know, but it's that sense of, I say family, and if it's not family, it's community, because they sort of go hand in hand, really. And it's, yeah, fair play to them. And I can't speak highly enough of them for what they do. And I'm sure that, as I say, I'm sure there's lots and lots and lots of other people, companies, charities, whatever it may be, that do a similar sort of thing. So to all those people that do help to provide for those that perhaps can't provide for themselves, hats off to you. Fantastic effort. Well done, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally second that. So TBR, moving on, and it's difficult to move on after something like that because it feels like we're changing the subject, and we are, but I don't want to gloss over it or forget that. I think I want you guys to take something away from that and just think about that on Christmas Day. Think about others, and if you could do something for somebody else who needs it, then definitely do it. I think it's really, really important. But speaking of doing things, Andy, well, doing things for others, where's this homebrew of yours? How's that coming along?
Talking about
this homebrew. When's it going to be ready? We're curious. We're thirsty.
Oh, weeks away.
Really? Well, how many weeks away? Because we've got 4 weeks at the point.
Well, hopefully I'll have it ready by Christmas. So I've not started yet. There's a reason though. So yeah, originally I was waiting for the heater element to come, and I got that now. I don't need to buy the cleaning fluid. So one thing I thought I had it. Obviously, I don't have it. But then I thought I'd wait until this. Well, I should have it by this Saturday. This weekend I've got a Saturday free, so it's going to should hopefully be started, and then that should brew just before Christmas. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, we shall look forward to sampling that. I'm hoping that when I open my Christmas stocking, that below the Lego is a little bit of beer from Andrew.
Well,
I'll just return one of yours from Kim.
Listen, dude, whatever she said, it's not happening. Let me make that very clear. I'm not that generous of spirit.
It's a bit of a shame because we could do with a bit of a. I say we did it last year, didn't we? We had a TBR sort of production meeting out and stuff, but I don't know whether I don't think we've got time. I mean, obviously Andy's circumstances have changed, and he's got a little now to think about and stuff. So, but it'd be a bit of a shame if we couldn't maybe try and get together and have a beer. Either I say whether it probably won't be pre-Christmas now, but maybe between Christmas and New Year, bring the little fella down, and we can perhaps try and grab a beer and stuff together. That'll be pretty decent.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe a New Year get together if that's what we have to do, because this is the thing with Christmas, as wonderful as it is. There's pressures and obligations that you have to meet with all sorts of people, and I say that like it's a chore. It really isn't a chore, because it's sitting around eating a lot of food and drinking a lot of beer. It's not actually that different to what I do for the rest of the year.
What about the 360, however many days do you use now?
Listen, what do I always say? Truly blessed is he who keeps a little bit of Christmas in his heart every day, and I do the eating and drinking part daily.
Absolutely. Jenny keeps saying, you're going to have an alcohol-free day. Well, maybe, but it's the Christmas season coming up, so maybe not. But no, you've got family, friends, work, dues, and this, that, and the other. So I think we're certainly this. I know that this will go out in a couple of weeks' time, but for the next 2-3 weekends, I think we're done. It's like we can't. We're booked up on a Friday night, booked up on a Saturday night, and then all of a sudden it's like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and you think, okay, well, we've got something on the 28th, and da. But I think it'd be decent if, I'm not putting any pressure on Andy, but you and Amy and so Jackson come down, and we'll have a beer if we can. Let's try and meet up.
It's definitely going to be one when Amy has to drive. Because
I'm hoping I'm hoping I'll have to drive, because we can sort of meet, and I live sort of next door, so we'll do something. But
we went out a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Andy? We went out to the Aston Marina. We had one of the pods there, one of the domes, which is actually pretty. Yeah, honestly, dude, really wicked. If you're in that area, I would definitely recommend doing it. The food was fantastic. The poor waitress had to listen to JJ yelling, Alexa, 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 every time she took a meal. That's all we heard for 2 hours, because they had an Alexa in there, so we listened to. So, of course, we took the opportunity. We got an extra listen. We got Tallboy Radio on in the pod when she was taking our orders. Maybe one listener, who knows? But yeah, I had little JJ there yelling, Alexa, 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 without pause. I'm very aware now. If anybody's listening to this on loudspeaker, I apologise. I've just fired it all up.
Alexa, play Tallboy Radio.
There's another one. Nice, dude. Merry Christmas. So we went out, and both Andy and I elected to drive on that occasion, because we're going out in a week or two's time, or if we're doing Gaz and his Matt Damon Beautiful Mind thing that he was doing when he was trying to work out when and what dates everything's happening. It was all relative to time of recording and time of release. That when we go out, that neither of us are driving, so we can have a few beers, because the pub that we go to a pub in Chelford every year, and the food is fabulous, but they always have a decent range of beers on tap as well, don't they?
Yeah, it wasn't by chance that we drove last time.
No, we weren't messing around. We weren't playing games. Just on the subject of beer as well, because obviously I'm now on my third Christmas beer now. The Tellurian Christmas, faultless. really enjoyed it. The Saint Foilion, I thought it was okay, but I tell you what, dude, this is the pick of the bunch. The Gordon Christmas. It's a gem. It's an absolute gem. That 8.8 is the weakest of the bunch. But I tell you what, it's a really enjoyable dark beer. I like it.
Dude, you need to go Bobies in a minute, mate. If that's like the weakest of the three, it's like
I will be sleeping. I will. It won't be an early start for me in the morning, I can promise. Sorry, folks.
So, I mean, I know. I don't know that I spoke about this in a couple of episodes back, sort of thing. But Andy, you mentioned that you might have sort of folks over at yours, are you, for this Christmas? Is that what you're doing? Are you entertaining this year? Would that be the same as you would normally do, or is that different because of Jackson and stuff? Or
we've been trying to alternate it between just me and Amy visiting my family and visiting her family. But last few years, her family parents been staying over, so it's not an issue because they love to cook.
So do you want to come over to ours and cook at the same time?
Well, they volunteer. So Amy, well, they get the meat because they live near farms and stuff in Wales. So they normally bring a turkey or whatever. This year we're having lamb, I think it is. And then, Amy and her mum will cook it. I've got my delirium keg that's going to be nice and chilled. And
you'll have your homebrew that's ready.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be sat in my knickers on the sofa drinking it.
What a lovely thought that is.
What about yourself?
And I know you're. Well, you beat me. Charles going to say what you do, Nad. But yeah, I think this year we're going to go over to Jenny's mum and dad. At the moment, it's not 100% because they're having some work done on their house and stuff. So they're sort of trying to convert various bits of their house. So it depending on how far that gets down the line, it might be at our house, might be at Jenny's mum and dad's house. So and then Boxing Day, we're actually going out because I think we went out last year for Christmas Day. Loved it. Yes, it's pricey. However, it reduces the stress levels for cooking and and you can do the things you want to do. But we're doing that this year on Boxing Day, so we're going to go out Boxing Day, have a nice meal. We'll probably come back to our house and enjoy evening buffet and this, that, and the other stuff. But a bit undecided at the moment. At the moment, it's Jenny's mum and dad's, but it could quite easily turn into our house, and that's fine because there would only be us for Jenny's mum and dad, and then potentially Jenny's granddad. So we have, we've got space, we've got room for that. So we're pretty flexible at the moment. So what about yourself then? You're entertaining, aren't you, dude?
Well, I was going to say, if you do end up entertaining at your place, we should also probably put out a warning on our local Facebook page to say the parking will be a premium because we've got 11 over for Christmas Day. Yeah, so we've got a busy one. Yeah, I mean that includes the four of us. So yeah,
but 7 extras is like.
It's a big one. It's a big one. Kim's cooking. We're getting the dumb waiter out. We bought a dumb waiter a couple of years ago. I've never used it. No idea where the instructions are. So we have to do a bit of a trial run beforehand. And then we've got to do Boxing Day as well.
Waiter?
Yeah, go on now. Get your pun in.
No.
Oh, right, sorry. I thought that was a joke.
No. I'm just because weren't dumb waiters like sort of split levels and stuff? Is that not a dumb waiter?
A dumb waiter, unless I'm calling it by the wrong name, it's like a bain-marie where you warm your plates on the bottom and then you store your veg and it keeps it warm in that, so that once it's all sat there, you just go help yourself to it and you can prepare all the other food. Probably what your nan did actually in a little house in Liverpool.
I always thought that. What did I think of dumb waiter? I don't know what I'm thinking, but I didn't think that was it. You will be right, obviously. And I will be wrong, obviously, but
I know Andy will be Googling right now as we can tell by the look on his face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not.
I can't be bothered.
That's a very strong beer.
I was going to say, dumb waiter. I thought you were going to make a joke about yourself at first. Dumb waiter.
Gee whiz. That ranks up there with the granddad comment.
Christmas spirit.
It wasn't something I'd have said. It's just showing lifts.
You just did.
So I said I thought you would have done that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'll make a self-deprecating comment.
Was it dumbwaiter not the thing that they used to do in between the floors, and they used to do the pulley system, and it used
that's
to go.
what it looks like. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
Lazy Susan or something. Isn't it?
Lazy Susan, isn't that like the circular thing in the middle of the table?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just pick
I
it
don't
up.
know.
Whatever it is, anyway, we got
Whatever it may be.
effectively,
yeah,
it's
Susan,
whatever
name is.
plates, and we bought a load of plates a couple of years ago, actually, which is we've never used. So they're blue and white with a silver embossed Santa Claus on it. So we're looking forward to cracking that open because we were going to do it last year, but we had limited numbers here last year because of obviously restrictions.
So who you're looking at? So Kim's sisters.
Yeah, Kim's sisters and partners, children, and Kim's mum. Yeah. So I'm looking. And Kim's uncle as well is coming over as well.
And will you be cooking, or will Kim be cooking?
No, Kim will be cooking. Kim will be cooking. I like to cook, but Christmas is for the drinkers.
It's hot tub day.
Well, that's the plan. Christmas Day night, as soon as the kids are in bed, we're in the hot tub. That is it. Bailey's in the hot tub. Sounds like a bad combination.
All 11 of you?
Probably. Well, no, because there's 3 children there. And I don't think Kim's uncle's stopping over for that late. I think he's going. God bless him. You know, he'll see the warning sign unless he's bringing his budgie smuzzles. Strong beer. Doing my best here. I'm doing my best to keep it together. Yeah, I do. But no, we're at the point anyway where we would be wrapping it up anyway. So a couple of shout outs that we need to do because we sort of glossed over it a couple of episodes ago. Country number 40 was Jamaica, which was our pal Bill. You know, he's been on holiday in Jamaica and obviously spreading the good word because we picked up listeners there. So thank you for that. And thank you for the bottle of Appleton Estate rum that you dropped off the other night. Slowed down the editing process, I'm not going to lie, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And there's still a little bit left. But then country number 41 dropped on as well, Mexico. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So
I reckon that's just Bill on his way home.
That's shouting out the plane window.
That's just Bill on his way home. He's been diverted. He's dropped into Guadalajara or whatever Mexico is, and thought, I'll download the latest episode. That's what he's done.
Well, that's pretty wicked, isn't it? 41 countries now.
I know. I know.
It'd be nice to pick up another 1 or 2 by year end, but it's probably asking a lot. But where will we be by this time next year? How many people are going to be listening to Tallboy Radio? I don't know. But let's face it, we appreciate each and every single one of you. So that brings us to the end of episode 99. I hope you'll join us for episode 100. We'll keep it brief for you, we promise. So who wants to say their goodbyes first?
I'll go first. I normally do with intros and exits and stuff. Really enjoyed this episode. Great to reminisce. Love Christmas. As I said, you know, I'm in a house with 3 girls who love Christmas. So I've sort of fighting a losing battle to maintain the it has to be December deadline. But loved it. I hope you guys love listening to our reminiscing. If you have got any sort of stories, tales, funny sort of stories you want to share with us, you're happy for us to share, then please get in touch with all the usual social media outlets. If not, I hope everybody that listens has a fantastic Christmas. I hope it's a blessed Christmas. I hope it treats you well, and let's look forward to Tallboy Radio in the new year. Guys, out.
Amen to that. Andy?
Yeah, it's been a good few weeks. All the people we've had on the show and all that, and it's a good year, which we'll talk about in another episode. If you got any good traditions that we should include in our Christmases, then we'll take a look at that. As you know, I'm the most Christmassy one out of all of us. Ciao.
Well, what I'll say as well, I absolutely echo everything these 2 guys have just said. But I had a recent conversation. I had a phone call out of the blue off a chap by the name of Mark Weaver, who we did a couple of Guinness World Records with, God bless him. And actually phoning me on Cheshire Police business. He wanted to get hold of somebody who used to work for me. And so obviously I passed on his number, and that was by the by, and everything worked out okay. So that's the good news from that little bit. But we were chatting, and he said, absolutely loving it. Just got back listening to podcasts. I'm listening to Tallboy Radio, and I'm going back. I The last episode I listened to was your Halloween episode last year, but I'm really enjoying catching up. So what I will say, Mark, happy Easter 2023 if you're listening to this one now. Well done catching up on it. But for everybody else, Merry Christmas. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day and a really wonderful festive period. Take care and thanks for listening.